The studio lights at Kenya Broadcasting Corporation flooded the Nairobi floor as Evelyn Marquez adjusted her microphone for a live broadcast. In New York, two anchors watched her image, ready to discuss wildlife conservation with their Africa correspondent. Evelyn had done this countless times. She knew how to stay composed. But in less than a minute, everything she believed about memory, connection, and herself would unravel on live television. A handler entered with a cheetah on a specialized leash. Evelyn continued speaking, eyes on the camera, explaining the sanctuary's ambassador program. The cheetah walked calmly, then stopped. Its ears turned forward. Its amber eyes locked onto Evelyn. It chirped, a sharp, high-pitched sound cheetahs reserved for family. Evelyn froze mid-sentence. Her expression changed completely. "Kai," she whispered. Her voice failed. Before that moment, before a clip viewed more than 20 million times, we must go back 5 years. Evelyn Marquez was 28 when her Denver news director assigned her to cover the poaching crisis in East Africa. She had never been to Africa, never owned a pet, and lived a life governed by deadlines and distance. Still, something about the assignment unsettled her. 3 weeks later, she landed in Nairobi with 2 suitcases and no idea she was about to cross a boundary she could never return from. The Masai Mara stretched endlessly beneath a punishing sun. Her guide, Samuel, moved through it with quiet certainty. Dr. Hazel Okonkwo, the sanctuary's director, was a Kenyan veterinarian trained abroad who had returned to fight poaching firsthand. When Evelyn met her, Hazel was treating a zebra caught in a snare, steady, exhausted, unyielding. The first week passed in a blur of patrols, interviews, and grim evidence. Evelyn told herself it was work. That illusion shattered on the 8th day. At 4:17 a.m., a patrol radioed in. Samuel drove through the darkness. Evelyn's heart pounded. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. They found a female cheetah trapped in a wire snare, infection raging through her leg. She had been caught for days. Pressed against her belly was a cub, 6 weeks old at most, refusing to move. For 2 hours, Hazel worked to save the mother. Evelyn filmed, hands shaking. At 6:23 a.m., the cheetah died. The cub chirped, desperate calls for a mother who would never answer. Evelyn lowered her camera. She couldn't move. The cub hissed and spat when anyone approached, guarding a body that no longer needed protection. Hazel placed Evelyn's jacket beside the cub. The scent, the nearby sound of Evelyn's voice, shifted fear into curiosity. The cub crawled onto the fabric and curled into a ball small enough to fit in Evelyn's hands. Evelyn held him for the entire 30-mile drive to the sanctuary. He weighed less than 3 pounds. Every chirp fractured something inside her. The cub was dehydrated, malnourished, too young for solid food. He would need bottle feeding every 3 hours. The sanctuary was overwhelmed. Evelyn volunteered for the night shifts before she could stop herself. That first night, the cub refused to eat. Exhausted, Evelyn lay on the cot and placed him on her chest. He went still, pressed his nose to her neck, and drank. At dawn, Hazel found them asleep. The cub curled over Evelyn's heart. She named him Kai. The 3-week assignment became 6. Kai grew stronger. He followed Evelyn everywhere. When she entered the room, he chirped. When she sat, he climbed into her lap. Cheetahs, Hazel explained, bond deeply. Orphaned cubs imprint on their caregivers. Evelyn had become Kai's mother. The realization struck with terrifying clarity. This wild predator, shaped by evolution for speed and survival, had chosen her as family. Weeks blurred into feeding schedules and filming. Evelyn still gathered footage. But the story had changed. It was no longer about policy or statistics. It was about a bond that should not have existed. Samuel noticed the change in Evelyn. He would smile when he saw her with Kai and say the land chooses who belongs to it. Dr. Hazel was less poetic. She warned Evelyn that this bond would make leaving unbearable. Cheetahs raised by humans were rarely released. Kai would spend his life at the sanctuary. Evelyn could not take him with her. Evelyn understood the rules, the impossibility. But every night, as Kai slept on her chest, his purr vibrating through her ribs, she felt herself becoming someone she had never planned to be. The call from Denver came on a Tuesday. The station needed a finished story. If she wanted to keep her job, she had 72 hours to return. Evelyn watched Kai track a bird outside the nursery window. He had grown, longer legs, sharper markings, steadier balance. He would be fine without her. That's what everyone said. But when she hung up and Kai turned toward her, chirping with unguarded trust, something inside her broke. She had one night left. Hazel gave her the nursery alone. Evelyn sat with Kai in her lap and spoke softly, about Denver, about snow, about the life she had planned. She promised she would return, that she would never forget him. Kai listened, eyes fixed on her face. When she fell silent, he pressed his forehead to her chin and purred. She left before dawn. She slipped away while he slept, because she could not bear to see him wake and search for her, calling for a mother, leaving him for the second time. Samuel drove her to the airport in silence. Before she left the car, he took her hand. "The land has claimed you," he said. "You will return." She flew halfway around the world with a piece of herself left behind. The story aired 3 weeks later. It won a regional Emmy. Evelyn accepted it with a smile that meant nothing. Then the emails began. Kai struggled at first, pacing, chirping, refusing food, but eventually bonded with the caretaker. He grew stronger, healthier. Evelyn printed the first photo and hid it in her desk drawer. She couldn't look at it every day. She couldn't throw it away either. The updates continued, monthly, sometimes more. She watched him grow through a screen, 4 months old, then 6, then nearly full-grown. Powerful, beautiful, alive. The pain did not fade. 2 years later, she still dreamed of him. She still woke with the phantom weight of his body on her chest. She still caught herself chirping at cats on the street and feeling foolish when nothing answered. Her career soared. National assignments, international travel, promotions, relationships came and went. None of them understood the password-protected folder of Cheetah photographs. None understood why she sometimes cried in her sleep, calling out a name in Swahili. 3 years after Kenya, she was offered a role as the network's lead international correspondent. New York, global reach, freedom to choose stories. During the celebration, a thought surfaced. She could go back, not to stay, not to reclaim what she lost, just to see him once. She waited another year, telling herself she needed to prove her value. The truth was simpler. She was afraid. 5 years had passed. Kai was fully grown now. Surely he had forgotten her. Animals didn't remember like humans did. But Hazel's email said otherwise. Kai was not releasable, too comfortable with people. Instead, he had become an ambassador, used for education and media. And whenever an American visited, he became agitated. He searched faces. He vocalized. Perhaps, Hazel wrote, he has never stopped looking for you. Evelyn read the message 17 times. Then she submitted a proposal for a conservation series in East Africa. It was approved within a week. 5 years and 2 months after leaving, Evelyn Marquez stepped off a plane in Nairobi. Heat wrapped around her. Memory flooded back so sharply she had to stop and breathe. She was back. The assignment would last 3 weeks. She scheduled multiple sanctuaries, multiple programs. She did not ask to see Kai. She did not tell Hazel she was coming. She told herself she needed professional distance. She was lying. The first 2 weeks passed in a blur. Rhino patrols, elephant orphanages, community programs. The footage was strong. The stories mattered. Every night, Evelyn lay awake thinking about the sanctuary only hours away. Dr. Hazel called on day 15. "I heard you're in the country," she said. "Were you planning to visit, or leave without seeing him?" Evelyn closed her eyes. "It's been too long. He won't remember me." A pause. "Come to the sanctuary," Hazel said. "There's something you need to see." Evelyn drove herself. No crew, no cameras. The sanctuary had expanded, new enclosures, wider paths, but her hands shook on the steering wheel as she arrived. She sat in the car for 10 minutes before forcing herself out. "He's in the northern enclosure now," Hazel said. "More space, more privacy." The enclosure stretched across 3 acres. A single cheetah lay on a raised platform, muscles loose, spots perfectly aligned. Kai, he was magnificent, fully grown, calm, unbroken. Evelyn's chest tightened. 5 years had been too long. He had moved on. "He doesn't know you're here yet," Hazel said quietly. "Call him." Evelyn hesitated, then spoke. "Kai." One ear flicked. She called again, steadier now, using the same tone she had used night after night in the nursery. Kai stood. In seconds he crossed the enclosure, hit the fence with urgency, and pressed his body against the chain link. He chirped. The sound meant family. Evelyn dropped to her knees, hands clutching the fence as Kai rubbed his head against her fingers, chirping endlessly, 5 years collapsing into one moment. He remembers, she whispered. Hazel wiped her eyes. He never stopped searching. Every American voice made him look. Evelyn stayed there for nearly 2 hours. When the staff finally said the enclosure needed to be secured, she turned to Hazel. I'm filming a live segment in Nairobi, she said, on conservation ambassadors. Could Kai be part of it? Hazel studied her. If I bring him, I'll know it's you. Then don't tell me which animal you're bringing. Evelyn said. Let it be real. You want the world to see this, Hazel said. Yes, and I want him to know I came back. The broadcast is Tuesday, Evelyn said. 3 days. We'll be ready, Hazel replied. Will you? Evelyn wasn't. But some stories demand witnesses. The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation studio was smaller than New York's, but flawlessly run. Evelyn arrived early, rehearsed, tested connections, and tried to remember she was a journalist, not a woman waiting for a ghost from her past. In New York, the anchors prepared for a routine conservation segment. 300 miles away, Hazel supervised Kai's transport. He was calm, but unusually alert, ears constantly moving. Maybe he knows, Grace said. Hazel didn't answer. This reunion would be real, or it wouldn't be anything at all. In the Nairobi studio, Evelyn took her place behind the anchor desk. The countdown read 45 minutes. Her hands were steady. Her voice was calm. Her heart was not. 30 minutes before air, the doors opened. Hazel entered first. Behind her, Grace wheeled in a transport crate. Evelyn couldn't see inside. Then she heard it. A soft chirp, muffled, familiar, curious. Her fingers tightened on the desk. Hazel met her eyes and gave a single nod. The final minutes blurred. Evelyn delivered her opening flawlessly. Facts, context, conservation, every word controlled. And joining me now is Dr. Hazel Okonkwo, she said. Hazel explained the ambassador program. Animals who could not return to the wild, but who helped people understand why conservation mattered. Not through numbers, but through connection. The floor director signaled. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. Grace opened the crate. Evelyn kept her eyes on the camera, as trained. Then the chirping came again, low, questioning. The sound Kai had made as a cub when she entered the nursery. A sound she hadn't heard in 5 years, yet recognized instantly. Her voice faltered. She turned. Kai stood 15 feet away, leash loose in Grace's hand. He was enormous now, powerful, unmistakably wild, but his body held no threat. His ears were forward. His eyes locked onto Evelyn's face. He chirped. Evelyn whispered, Kai. He surged forward. Grace lost the leash. Hazel did nothing. In 3 strides, Kai crossed the studio and pressed his head against Evelyn's chest, exactly where he had slept as a cub. His chirping deepened into a rolling purr, loud enough for the microphones to catch. Evelyn's arms rose instinctively. Her hands found the familiar pattern of his coat. Tears streaked her face. She didn't care. In New York, the anchors sat in stunned silence. Evelyn, are you okay? Rebecca finally asked. Hazel stepped forward. What you are witnessing is a reunion 5 years in the making, she said. This cheetah was orphaned at 6 weeks old. The woman holding him nursed him back to health. She became his mother, and he never forgot her. The cameras kept rolling. Evelyn laughed through tears. This was meant to be a professional segment, she said. But this shows what no statistic can. Bonds like this don't disappear with time or distance. Kai looked into the camera, calm, content. The interview continued, but the moment that traveled the world was those first 60 seconds. The chirp, the run, the reunion. Afterward, Evelyn sat alone on the studio floor with Kai. She apologized softly. He pressed his forehead to her chin, the same gesture he'd made as a cub. Nothing had changed. The next morning, Hazel led her into a quiet nursery. 2 fuzzy cheetah cubs looked up. Kai is a father, Hazel said. Evelyn knew she couldn't take them with her. But you can stay, Hazel said, as our correspondent, as part of this work. 3 months later, Evelyn transferred permanently to Africa. On her first morning, Kai waited at the fence, chirping, and in the nursery, 2 cubs learned the sound of her footsteps, the rhythm of her voice, the steady beat of her heart. Some stories end with goodbye. This one ended with home.